Hey guys, it's Kay from KS Anonymous, and I'm back today with another episode of r/legal advice. Illegal transfer of house ownership? I don't know what to title this. Indiana. So my mother has a house, been in our family for almost 100 years now. Never had a mortgage, never had home equity, anything. Ever. Mom's up to date on property taxes, no tax sale, nothing. I went out to the lake house to get some of my stuff. While maintaining it year-round, grass, weeds, etc., it is a summer lake house, and we use it for storage, etc. When I entered the house, it looked like someone had broke in, so I asked a neighbor. She said the bank took it, and so here we are. I called and filed a police report of all stolen items that I'm assuming the people the bank hired took, and the police officer is to call my mom tomorrow after he figures out what he can. He informed my mom there's a law where if you care for a property for more than 30 days, you can lay claim to the property. However, my mom had hired a guy to take care of the property, and the bank vendors turned him away. My neighbor says they entered with a key and I can still get in with mine. I'm the sole person with a key. My mom doesn't even have one. How is all this possible? The officer told us to be sure we aren't charged with trespassing to not come back. However, he let me get all my stuff. My mom got no notice, no legal transfer, no nothing. How is any of this legal? Can someone explain? Or what do we need to do? Edit, another question. My mom talked of changing the locks on them and was wondering how good or bad of an idea that would be. Edit 2, they also have a padlock on the back door but didn't change the front door locks, which I don't get. Edit 3, to clarify, there is a sign-in sheet in the home that vendors are supposed to sign when they work on the home, with the name of the bank in the header. There's also a sticker on the front window with a number to a security company that is employed to secure homes for banks. The bank has winterized it and has already started replacing the roof and has done the gutters. Sorry for those of you wondering if it's just neighborhood gossip. Edit 4. Wow, I appreciate all of you. Those of you saying to move back in, the house is livable, but there are repairs that need done, and the house is 45 minutes from town. If I didn't have kids, I'd be out there in a heartbeat. But my boyfriend and I were living out there up until February of 2019 and had to move out because we were far from town. The electric bill was through the roof. 4 kids makes that hard. Because the house is not insulated to be a winter home, and it just reverted back to a summer home to swim fish storage. Also asked mom to run a credit check. She says she already has credit monitoring set up and gets daily notifications. Nothing weird has been reported to her credit. No equities or the like. Update for now. Sergeant coming to take my mom's statement today. We're waiting. They spoke on the phone for a good hour. He pulled up her deed while on the phone and said he sees no cases for a lien or foreclosure. He's stumped, but working. He's going to call the security company. Again, cannot reach the bank or attorney until Tuesday. The officer had 2 things conflated, tenancy and adverse possession. I'll get adverse possession out of the way since I am sure that's your larger concern. Someone can occupy a property openly, notoriously, continuously for a period of 10 years and be able to attempt to claim title, not 30 days. This is adverse possession and is in fact a thing. Someone occupying property for 30 days can argue a tenancy exists and is entitled to an unlawful detainer hearing before LE can throw them out. But you don't say there's a person living there. I don't know why the officer believed that she could be charged with trespass, but I suspect he's just exercising an abundance of caution because when LE intervenes in a civil dispute to the extent it becomes an unlawful eviction by removing a squatter, it is possible that LE holds liability since it's outside their authority. Tenancies that can't be terminated by forcing someone out, really just the refusal of LE to involve themselves in forcing someone out, is what people keep calling squatters' rights, but they are wrong because that term actually means adverse possession, but really under the law doesn't have a meaning at all. It's just a pet peeve of mine when people use it to mean due process under which someone cannot be evicted without a court saying so. Pardon the side rant, but it really gets confused quite a lot. Your mother needs a real estate attorney. I suspect there was no bank involved here, but in the event the taxes were not paid, it is possible that a finance company purchased it at a tax sale, but this is so unlikely, I am loath to mention it as possible. I think the neighbor is repeating information told to them and are incorrect about a bank repossession because it's simply not possible. Somewhere, someone made either a grievous error or else acted maliciously, and either or both are difficult to undo. I suspect that the deed is still in your mother's name, though. I have the sign-in sheet with a bank name on the paper. They have put out bids for people to fix the house up. The bank is a mortgage lender, which again, she had no mortgage. We are a very tight-knit community out there, so when she saw people snooping around, being the president, she asked them what they were doing. They told her they were the bank and that they own the house, and she physically watched them enter with a key. None of this makes any sense to me. How they got a key, how they claim the house is theirs, none of it makes sense. They even have a security company number on the house to call if anyone notices anything off. The company is Safeguard. They are employed to secure houses for banks. If there has never been a mortgage, the next concern I would have is a relative or close associate with the family falsifying an equity loan. This type of fraud is less rare than, say, banks accidentally foreclosing on a house they have nothing to do with, but it's not exactly common either. In any case, this is unquestionably a situation in which an attorney is needed. Assuming a bad actor or bank error, it's incredibly arduous to slog through the legal processes just to get the documentation to figure out what happened and what steps to take. It is likely that it will work out, but it will take time and will be frustrating and upsetting. Having an attorney deal with the process helps remove the anger and emotion from the equation in application and will make it much easier on your family. We disallow users from asking for updates here, and I certainly won't ask you to go out of your way to keep us posted, but I will abuse my mod power for a moment to say I would be very interested in hearing how things are going. Also, we will never second guess an involved attorney, so it's not a good idea to come ask us if we agree with what her lawyer says or suggests, but you are always welcome to come back and let us know how things are progressing and ask any simple questions about the process you may have. Someone actually pinged me to look at your question, as I come across a fair amount of both adverse possession claims as well as unauthorized tenancy questions in my area. To be honest, taking everything at face value and recognizing that you're all just collecting facts as you can right now, I can think of about 6 or 8 likely things that could have happened. They can be plotted in a bell curve from a simple human error and oversight failure on one end, and an institutional process involving bad faith acts on the part of the lender at the other. The more likely scenarios are someone with just enough access to your family to get financial and personal info for applying for, receiving, and defaulting on a LOC or refinance could have led to foreclosure, a less institutional but also less a simple human error, but still a massive F-up within the mortgage lender due to hideous record keeping and or a party, usually acquainted with the owner and frequently related, utilizing identity theft to sell the property to a partner in crime. Then the fraudulent seller and partner share the money and default on the mortgage. I suspect the most likely scenario involves an associated party taking out financing on the house and changing the contact name and information for notices so your mom never got them. Or something as simple as forwarding the mail to the home that you use for storage. But it's impossible for us to know. There are just so many possibilities. I will keep your family in my thoughts, though, as I absolutely do understand how anxiety and panic-provoking this is for you all. Your mom can go check the deed herself on Tuesday at the recorder's office to see if and when the deed was altered, as well as it should have history of financing. Her own credit record may reflect revolving lines of credit she doesn't recognize. She can check for any large jump or drop in her credit score as well over the last few years, as those can give clues as to when, and sometimes clues as to what happened. The good news is real estate transactions have to be done on paper, and there are significant rules as to what has to be written and how, and signed and dated and witnessed and notarized, so the information is out there. Best of luck, and don't be shy to come back with additional questions. I wish we could give you more clear direction here now, but have mom call a real estate attorney as soon as possible. The long weekend may delay it until Tuesday, but lawyers are still working and it shouldn't be too difficult to find someone. Update on the stolen lake house. Indiana, because the bot yelled at me. Not looking for advice so Modman team can log, but wanted to update y'all. My mother got a hold of the bank today, who said they had no record of the address in their system. However, they did have a completely different lake house in their system. They said they had no financial interest in the house at all. They directed her to their real estate company in our county. He said he hasn't had a house at the lake in many years. She then contacted the property preservation company that secured the house. The CSR got very frantic, asking for the burglary report case number, and again told her someone would call her. She also stated our address was not in their system. She hired a locksmith at the direction of her attorney, and we went out there and placed warnings and changed locks. The locksmith informed us they actually didn't have a key, as previously stated. I was the only one with a key. And they credit carded the door and replaced the lock in the back and just said F it when it came to the front door. Neighbors took pictures of our license plates but didn't call the police, so I'm in fear something bigger is going on. But now it's just up to the DA to find someone to press charges against and civil court for emotional damage and loss of truly invaluable things that they stole while renovating. Thank you all again. Possibly the final update for Stolen Lake House, Indiana. Detectives solved the case. Property Preservation Company is claiming full responsibility. They had the wrong house. None of the houses they owned out there had lot numbers on them in their system, so they just assumed and went with it. Yes, my mom is in contact with her attorney before she settles. There is so much more that goes into this than just $30,000 worth of missing things. She asked if the DA is going to take the case. He said they could, but he advised her to contact her attorney Monday before making that decision. The Lake Association had their monthly meeting, at which time the president informed everyone that the no trespassing signs weren't real. So my take on the neighbors is that they are just a-holes. But the detectives called and talked to her, so I'm sure they're aware now. I just am ready for it all to be over, and I appreciate the amount of notice this has gotten here. My family is very impressed with all of you. Holy crap. So I'm very glad, obviously, that this wasn't a nefarious way of trying to legitimately steal your house, that there wasn't a family member who had fraudulently taken out some sort of mortgage or anything like that. So that's really good. I'm really glad to hear that. I'm glad to hear that they figured it out. But it's just beyond me that people would just be like, I don't know, it's out here somewhere. That one looks like nobody lives in it. Let's just get in that one. Like, what the heck? That's horrifying. Horrifying that a company would do that. I'm just so glad they're taking responsibility, and hopefully everything from here on out will go smoothly. Good on you, r/LegalAdvice community, for helping this person out. And I'm just really glad that most people, other than the people who managed to get in the house, seem to be competent otherwise. Other than the neighbors. I don't understand the whole neighbor thing, but you know. Anyway, that is going to wrap it up for today. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, go ahead and drop a like and let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Really quickly, I'd like to thank my patrons. Up on the screen, you should see my face palmers and my crazy K's. Thank you all so much for supporting me in that way. If you're interested in becoming a patron, checking out the original posts from today's video, or sending me an email for possible inclusion in a future video, all of that is in the description box, so be sure to check it out. And I'll talk to you in my next video. Bye!